Welcome back to the Unforgettable Brand Bootcamp. Now, I'm Dee Woodward, but then you already know that, and you are here in Workshop 3. And this workshop, wow, this is a super special workshop. Because if you've ever wondered what the heck goes on in a brand designer's brain when it comes to taking your vision and making it visual, then this is it. That is what this workshop is all about. So we are going to be breaking down the whole unforgettable brand plan for you right here. This is the process that I take my brand clients through, and today we're going to break it into simple steps, and I'm going to walk you through the whole process. And even better than that, you're going to get access to the whole brand planner in an editable format, so you can download and keep that with you no matter where you are in your brand building journey. So I hope you're going to love this as much as I have loved putting it together for you. So why are we here? Now, I know that you know why you're here. It's because you want to create a brand that is unforgettable. Now, what that looks like exactly for you might vary slightly, but I can tell you from all of the questions that you answered to get into this group in the first place, that for the most of you, an unforgettable brand means creating that instant connection with your clients, which, as it so happens, is exactly what this bootcamp was designed to do. Now, with Workshop 1, we started on a journey of discovering why who you are is more important than what you know. And then in Workshop 2, we explored this a little bit further and introduced the idea of the self-selecting customer, which I love this one. It's the realization that your perfect customers already exist and that they will come to you without the need for hustle or hard push sales tactics. And when you follow the whole CTFO brand plan, your customers will start appearing as if from nowhere, except obviously it's not nowhere, it's from the decisive fucking action you take to make it happen. And now it's time to look at how these pieces all fit together into the full brand plan. The plan that will give you all the tools you need to bring your unforgettable brand to life. Because that is what I love most. Turning that vision that you have for your business into the visuals you use to launch your brand. That's the bit that most people get stuck on. Taking the internal work, their who, what, why, and turning it into the external visuals. Or worse, when people bypass the internal and just jump straight to the external bit. But I know that's not you. You've been with me for 2 workshops already, and we've covered the absolute musts for the internal stuff that you need to know before you can design your brand. So I know you're onto a winner already. You already have the foundations, as it were, for your unforgettable brand. Now it's time to reveal the blueprint. And that, I promise, is as much metaphors and cliches as I can handle for the day. So, your CTFO brand plan. Now, this will help you take what you have already worked on and map it out so that you can see how it all comes together to design your brand. You'll be able to see easily where you might still need to do some work and what work you have already done so that you can bring it together and launch your brand. Now, if you feel like you're starting at a kind of big, empty plan right now, then don't panic. You are exactly where you need to be, and a blank planner can only mean one thing. You get to fill it in, and this bootcamp was designed to give you the basics that you need to get cracking with your brand. Now, you know I'm all about maximum results with minimum effort, and that's what this bootcamp is designed to give you, a clear plan for your unforgettable brand with some bits ready to go and some bits ready for you to take further action on. And of course, if you would like to continue with me after this bootcamp, then we can absolutely do that. But more on that later, because today is all about your CTFO brand plan. So let's get cracking. Your core, which is your personality, tribe, which is your perfect customers, feelings, which is all about your brand experience, and offers, which are your products and services. So what the heck is this CTFO thing all about? Well, you know it is my all-time favourite motto, to crack the fuck on, and it's no coincidence that is the 4-step process for branding that fits perfectly with this saying, because this is my whole approach to branding. CTFO, crack the fuck on. There is no such thing as perfect. We all know that, right? And yet we somehow seem to spend forever searching for it, delaying decisions until we have the perfect version or the perfect idea, the perfect, yada, yada, yada. But when we know that perfect doesn't exist, why are we always still putting things off in search of it? I'll tell you. Procrastination. We all love a bit of it. It creeps up on us in so many different ways. And that is why I have to remind myself all the day long to crack the fuck on. And now, hopefully, you'll also have that little antidote to procrastination stuck in your head. Core, tribe, feelings, offers. Your 4-part process for designing your unforgettable brand. Now, we've explored the first part together through this bootcamp, but there's a full look into the different stages and how they connect to build your brand from the inside out. So your CTFO brand plan. Here's a little sneak peek at what the brand planner that you're going to get your hands on to be able to edit at the end of this workshop looks like. And then I'm going to flash that tease away and we're going to go into what the brand plan overview really is. So what the CTFO process looks like when you break it down into its core different stages. So we start off with psychology-based design. Now there's some big words to throw at you right at the start here, and I promise I'm not going to go all jargon on you here, but something you might not know about me, which we do need to come clean about, is that I'm a complete geek when it comes to the psychology of design. Now, I've always been fascinated by the thinking behind design choices and how visuals influence our decision making. So just, looking around the room that you're in right now, you'll find all sorts of visual information presented in a way that makes you feel a certain way. Remember that selfie game from workshop 1? Well, this is why that matters. From the colours that you chose, to paint your walls, from the artwork that's hanging overhead, or that mug you're hiding your gin in, then these are all visual elements that paint a picture. They give us an insight into the personality behind the brand. Whether that's your personal brand or your business, is those feelings that inspire the visuals that we're really interested in. The way that you make people feel about what you're offering is the difference between making sales and making people run screaming, or, worse still, making people do nothing. Because nothing is the worst possible outcome. Yes, you want people to love you and to buy from you, but even outright hating you is preferable to nothing at all. When you're having a kind of pretty shitty day, when things just aren't quite going your way, have you ever looked at a photo or walked into another room or popped out for a walk and instantly just felt your mood change? Through the introduction of visual stimuli that we're able to instantly change the way we feel in any situation. And in the same way that we use visual stimuli to change our own feelings in any moment, we can use these visuals to change the emotional connection our customers have with our business. The visuals you use, the design choices you make, the way something simply looks, really does have the power to change the way people think and feel about you. So why the heck wouldn't you use this in your business? Using design in this way to create a connection between the existing worldview of your customers and your business values really is the simplest way to keep your message in the minds of your audience. Knowing what these two things are, your customer's worldview and your brand values, is the starting point for creating your visual brand. And this is where design psychology becomes your new best friend. Knowing how your perfect customers will respond to your offerings based on their experience of the world is the scientific way to ensure that what you create attracts and converts the right people. But before you get scared off by the depth of the subject here, we're not studying for a psychology degree. We're building our brands. And for that, we need a basic understanding of how people work, because it's people we're building our brands for. Once we know how and why we make choices, especially buying choices, we can then use this to inform our design process. So, there's quite a lot in there, but that's the really important introduction to what the CTFO process is all about, and it's all based on psychology-based design. So one of the first stages in the CTFO brand plan, which is your core, the first stage we're looking at, it's all about you and nothing to do with you. So your perfect customer isn't looking to connect with a faceless brand. We touched on this in workshop 2. Your customers want to connect with you. People buy from people they know, like, and trust, right? And so that got me thinking that what if your brand could tell your tribe all about you without you needing to speak a word? What if your brand could inspire the feeling that gets your tribe hooked on you And what if your brand meant that you no longer had to hide and you could just be you? That's when it all starts to come together. Branding is more than making things look pretty. Your brand is a form of visual communication that attracts your customers to you. So in other words, your visuals build a bridge between who you are and who your customers are. And importantly, the right design will boost your conversion rate quite significantly. So if you want to attract a particular sort of person, you want to convince your perfect customers to know, like, and trust and ultimately buy from you, then you must put you and your personality at the core of your brand. And this is true even if, and especially if, you don't want to be the face of your brand. Even big brands are built on this kind of personal personality. More often than not, they are characterized by the kind of personality of the founder. So if you think about Virgin, or if you think about Innocent Smoothies, or even Facebook, they are all brands that were built on the core beliefs and personality traits of their founders. So if you want an unforgettable brand, you need to build that brand on your personality, your ideas, your passions, all the things that you want to be known for, all the little quirks and differences that make you you, all the little details that make you unique. And when you express those in your brand, your perfect customer will know instinctively and at a deep subconscious level that you are the one that they've been looking for. You are the one that they want to buy from. You are the one that they want to let into their lives, because that's what building a brand really does for your business. It brings you into the lives of your perfect customers. That's how you stand out in a crowded, noisy digital space, and you get your perfect customers' eyes on you. Okay. Clarity, confidence, and cash. That's next up in our 4 stages within core. And this is where we really start to look into your brand message in a way that really brings you the clarity, confidence, and cash, because they're 3 of the most important elements when it comes to your brand. So be more you. Now this is where we're talking about your brand story. So if you like to think about it in another way, I've put a note here to talk about kind of like a TED Talk worthy brand story, because people buy from people. And in a digital world where new competition springs up every day, you really do have to make it as easy as possible for the right people to find their way to you. While there is no one else like you, there are other people who will be offering a similar service at a similar price. So who you are is the only thing that is going to differentiate you from any competitor. So if you don't leverage your personality in your brand, then you're making it a whole lot harder for yourself to find the best customers, as well as making it almost impossible for your customers to choose you. Which leads me to my all-time favourite byproduct of the CTFO process, which we cover in the final part of the core stage of your brand plan, and that's no copycats. People might be able to rip off your processes and your products. They can even copy your design and your words, but they can never copy your personality. Only you can be you. So then, now we get to move into the T section, which is tribe. And it starts with screw the avatar, because I cannot tell you enough how I hate the term avatar. It was killed for me years back when everybody started listing out kind of hair types and car choices and magazine subscriptions, all of those kind of random bits of details which really doesn't matter. Yes, you want to know like your perfect customer, but you want to know the one that really exists, the ones that you can picture and have conversations with and that actually buy your stuff. Because a made-up ideal customer that never buys anything from you is far from ideal. And that leads us into meeting your perfect customers. And this is where we get into some legitimate stalking. We talked about that in workshop 2, and it really is a good one. From here, we can design your tribe. Now, you know who your perfect customer is, the real one, and you've done your stalking. So you can go looking for where more people like this hang out. And that is how you find your audience. And all of this brings us to the conclusion part of the tribe stage in the brand plan, and that is your one-liner. And I love this one because I'm not all about the visual. The verbal is a huge part of what makes your brand unforgettable, especially in the mind of your perfect customers. But it can and is super simple when you do it this way. See, you'll already have created this from our work that we've done so far in this process. You won't even really have to think about writing anything because it already exists. Which is kind of magic. Yep, I'm basically a brand magician over here. So that is the internal part of the CTFO process, the core and the tribe. Now we get to move into the external stuff, your visibility, and that starts with feelings. Now, There are no accidental feelings here. The feelings your brand inspires should not be accidental. That's because you get to influence them. There are no excuses, no what ifs. This is all up to you. And with that in mind, I want to raise your expectations about what visual marketing can help you achieve. In fact, I invite you to make a commitment to yourself right now. Instead of making do with things that look good, which is intangible and subjective anyway, from this point forward, I want you to demand visuals that attract your perfect customer, make it easy for you to disrupt in an ever-saturated world, make you distinctive and memorable and highly visible in this overcrowded digital world, that help you build your know, like, and trust without you needing to ever speak a word, and inspire the feelings in your audience that get them excited to work with you. Because that's what your brand needs to do. The truth is, you already have a brand. It's in your head right now. And that moves us into vision, variable, and visual. Now, one of my all-time favourite parts of the process. Now, these 3 stages of your brand are where it's at when it all comes together, which is the whole kind of stage of that this process is talking about. We've done the work on the internal stuff, and you know what your brand needs to look like to be the perfect blend of you and them. And now, in the feelings section, it's time to take all of the vision and create the verbal and the visual elements of your brand. And this is where it helps to have some sort of brand magician by your side to help you translate things. So your brand style, your brand assets, and your brand voice, the 3 final elements that go into creating the external assets of your brand, which are all related to the feelings section. Now, these are all pretty self-explanatory. These are the bits that most people think of when you say brand or branding. And yes, they are really fun to get stuck into. And this is where the work really starts to look like something that you can't wait to show off. And you are going to want to show this off. And then now we can move into the final part of the CTFO brand plan, which is your offerings. So brand your products. Now, we're really into the meat of it here. We've done all the internal work and we've created the external branding, but your brand doesn't stop there. Now, this is where the confusion most people have between brand and branding comes up, because your brand is the internal stuff, whereas your branding is the external stuff, which is great. But what most people forget is that your brand also covers what you're actually selling. You know, the bit that keeps your brand alive, the business of brand. In this section, we look at your current and future offerings and make sure everything fits with your brand so that you are ready to brand your launch. And oh yes, I love a brand launch. I'm a huge fan of all things brand and branding, you know that. But I also love the bit when you come to launch and launch again and again, because your brand is not a one and done thing. Your brand is the container that your offerings sit in, and that means that every time you want to open an offering, you're launching this to the world again and again, which is where you brand your business. And now, I might sound a bit strange. I wasn't sure on the title for this, but what I really mean is that I'm not about to leave you with a brand that you can't use every day, because it's the daily slog, the day-to-day business of your business, the showing up consistently that build your brand to the level of unforgettable. Put simply, this is your marketing done the CTFO way, and that takes planning and creativity and templates. For the love of templates, so you really do need these in your life. And finally, we are looking at connection, community, and conversation, which is kind of a huge place to end. And that's because it doesn't really end here. Your brand never ends. It's something that grows with you. And that's where connection, community, and conversations are so very important to the future of your unforgettable brand. Unforgettable means unforgettable, and that means we're in it for the long term. So that's it. That's an overview of your brand planner. It is a journey. It does take time, and it will flex and change as it grows with you, which is why it's really important to know the process for yourself in your business, so that as things change, which they will, you will be able to take control of your brand and flex and grow it with you, rather than, find in 5 years' time you have a brand that no longer fits you. The CTFO process has been designed to help you access the kind of ongoing skills and tools that you need to ensure you always have a brand that works for you. Unforgettable brands inspire consistent emotions. From your logo design to the tone of voice on your website, from the way that you answer the phone to the way that you send out products, from your legal footnote to whatever it is you're wearing to meetings, everything should scream your brand. If you want your brand to be known as environmentally conscious, you can't send out physical products shipped in excessive plastic wrap. If being fun and playful is at the core of your brand, your invoices and your admin processes can't be, stuffy and formal. It's the seemingly unimportant inconsistencies like this that cause confusion and conflict in the minds of your audience and will damage the relationship between the brand and the customer. You can't just say you're going to be an unforgettable brand. You have to get up, do the work every day, and be unforgettable. An unforgettable brand has the ability to trigger a feeling in its audience. Now, a brand which is associated with a unique concept, maybe something as unique as you are, it's more likely to be remembered and loved and purchased. And all it really takes is the right brand strategy, good design, and consistent marketing. Not much really then. Which is why I wanted to give you this full overview today. Because no matter what you do from here, whether you're thinking, I want to, find out more about Dee's coaching, which I will be sharing next week. I'll be sharing a little bit more about brand and launch, or whether you decide that you're going to go at it yourself and get cracking on this and see where these resources and the brand planner that you've got to take home with you today gets you, which is why I wanted you to have this brand planner as a tool that you can download, edit and use. So there will be a link to be able to download that as a spreadsheet that you can fill in after this workshop, so that you will have now a clear plan in front of you no matter where you choose to go next. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, Dee, just take my hand and show me how to do it already. If you want me to walk you through each step of the steps in the process and work together as I coach you through everything that you need to create your unforgettable brand, then pay attention to next week, because I will be talking about brand and launch and how you can get involved. And because you are here right now doing this bootcamp, there will be some super special bonuses for those of you who have gone through the bootcamp with me. So you want to pay attention for those. Now, the last time I opened the doors to this was October 2018. It was under a different name, but I haven't opened the doors on this for a long time. So if you are thinking about this now, then now really is the time to get to know me a little bit better, to ask any questions that you might have to figure out if this is the right path for you. Because once those doors close, I don't know when I'm going to be opening them back up again. And when they close, they close. So you can't get this program all the time. So if you've loved this and you've really enjoyed the work that we've done together so far, and the CTFO brand plan looks like something that you want to dive into more, then I'm going to be talking about this at the end of the masterclass on Monday. I'm going to go into more of the advanced things that go into branding and launching, and what it really takes to make an unforgettable brand, plus all of the elements that you need to create your brand and launch it. And of course, I'll be answering any questions that you have on designing your brand. And I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about brand and launch and the opportunity I have right now for you to join me in that at the end of the masterclass. So, thank you for being here with me. I really hope that you have loved this as much as I have loved putting it together for you. Don't forget to download the workshop notes and grab the copy of your CTFO brand plan so you've got those as a reference when you need them, because this bootcamp will be coming to a close next week when I move into what I love most, which is serving my brand and launch members. But any questions that you've got, then bring them along to the Facebook group, and make sure you keep an eye out for the masterclass details that are coming at you on Monday, because you don't want to miss this. So until then, I will see you over in the Facebook group.